when I first read the play, it was so modern in its observations about how men and women are together and how we lie to ourselves about how controllable love is. It still struck me as very modern, which was kind of comforting, because to think that back in the 17th century we were suffering the same way as humans in the face of love was one of those things that binds us together with the idea of humanity. So much changes, especially in the last 10 years, so much has changed technologically speaking. I found it very comforting to know that we still struggle with the basic human emotions and we still are just fools when it comes to love.
So, you're actually saying you're going to tie the knot?
I'll marry her tomorrow, yes. Well, for heaven's sake, why not?
Arnold, it is me you're talking to, you know. There's nobody else here, just the two of us, and so can I speak quite openly, just as friend to friend? It seems to me you've gone completely round the bend.
Arnold starts the play very much in control of his own circumstances. He is able to bend the world to his will. So with that comes quite a dollop of arrogance. And I really enjoy, it's a 5-act play, seeing how offside I can put the audience with that arrogance at the beginning and see if I can't rein them in and pull them in with a little bit of sympathy for this enormous journey of humiliation that Arnold goes through. So I think the arrogance is off-putting initially, but he gets his comeuppance, so in a way we forgive him, despite some outrageous things that he says.
It's absurd to obsess about it, but in your case, my concern is due to the relentless mockery poor husbands receive from you. Your sport is making targets of husbands, great and small.
Well, what was controversial about it is that he was making a comedy about the middle classes, the new middle classes in Paris. And at that point, people didn't make comedies about the middle classes, and he was sending up the businessmen of Paris and the men and women and their pretensions and their aspirations. It was controversial in the way that Ricky Gervais is controversial now, the way he gets away with things because of his extraordinary comic gift. And the same thing with Molière. He had an extraordinary comic gift and he got away with saying things that no one else would get away with saying about powerful people in their community. He was also very clever in this play in that he made it about himself. He made himself the butt of the joke. He played the role of Arnold, and he's on stage the whole time. And he's playing the role of a man who tries to control the idea of love by bringing up a woman to be the perfect wife for him. And of course it's going to go horribly wrong, but he's quite deluded in that way. So we watch him being the butt of the joke, and Molière played that role. And he had just married a woman who was about 25 years younger than him, and she was playing his young wife opposite him. So from the local community's point of view, he was laughing at himself, which is why it became even funnier. That's how he got away with it being so controversial.
Well, the degree to which he goes to it, you don't see much these days. I mean, he buys a girl at the age of 4. He waits appropriately until she is of the right age to try and marry her, but for those 14 years, basically locks her away in a convent to keep her pristine, or in his words, an idiot. Thinking that is going to prevent him from ever becoming a cuckold or being cheated upon. Well, of course, human nature and love is stronger than that. And that's how he gets his comeuppance.
Artistically, for me, I'm playing in this play with a lot of fragments of how to tell a story. How little do you need of a particular style to be enough to give people a taste of an idea as opposed to fully illustrating the idea. And for me, I'm walking on a tightrope of not enough and just enough, and sometimes it tips over one way or the other, but for me that's where I'm in my process, is figuring out what's too much and what's too little in a story for an audience to really engage. So I don't normally talk about that because I don't like people to see the mechanics of what I'm trying to do. I like them to actually just be immersed in the story, and I try to often be quite invisible as a director, but that's what I'm playing with at the moment.
Such fools are everywhere, so can you envision a better subject for me, a spectator, to vent my derision? Can't I laugh at imbeciles?
Yes, of course you're entitled to, but beware that in revenge they don't also laugh at you.
I step off stage for 3/4 of a page in a 63-page play, so in 2.5 hours There is a 20-minute interval, but I'm off stage for about a minute and a half. So that's a stretch in itself. There's quite a few lines to learn. The other big stretch is that Leah Lewis here on my left has me going around the stage on my knees for a whole scene almost, which at the end of, which is sort of the tail end of a 20-year career is not where you really envisage yourself. So there's a certain challenge in that as well.
Your idea.
Yes, so it's been great working with Lee, it really has.
It's just fun. And I think there should be plays that are just about fun sometimes. You know, I do a lot of other things that are very serious and very intense, and it's not that we don't work on this seriously, but there's just something about going to the theatre and having fun that night. It can be a bubble of time outside your regular life, and I think that it's part of our job as artists is to inspire that sense of fun in people and to remind them that they can just escape sometimes.